So, why did Trump pull the trigger? Was this strike really just about Iran, or was there a bigger play in motion? When President Trump authorized the hit on Iran's nuke facilities, it wasn't just a solo move. Behind the scenes, Israel was already grinding down Iranian launchers. This wasn't a flash decision. It was coordinated, calculated, and quietly greenlit across all lines. And the White House knew exactly what it was doing. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Hit like, subscribe, and let's get into this.
Secretary, question for the Secretary and the Chairman. How was this strike coordinated with the Israelis on a strategic level, militarily, and on a tactical level? Was there any direct Israeli military participation in this operation?
Well, I would say certainly Israel had an incredible military success, especially at the beginning and ongoing, in degrading Iranian capabilities, in degrading Iranian launchers, MRBMs. It's been incredible to watch what our ally Israel has been able to do. And there certainly have been conversations. I mean, General Kurilla at CENTCOM has worked closely in the defense of Israel for many years. And part of this operation was the defense of Israel and the ongoing defense of Israel. But as it pertains to this strike, this was U.S. operated and U.S. led.
We took advantage of some of the preparatory work that's been done over the past week and a half in terms of axis of approach. I won't get into the particulars, but as the Secretary said, it was a U.S. strike. We made sure we were not in the same piece of airspace and sky. Aside from that, that was the extent of it.
So let's talk about the moment. When exactly did Trump decide it was time to pull the trigger? Turns out it wasn't some knee-jerk reaction. He gave Iran every off-ramp that they could possibly ask for, and they stonewalled. This next clip reveals the moment that patience ended and decisive leadership kicked in. Take a look.
Excuse me, Mr. Secretary, can you tell me, was there a particular moment when the president decided to pull the trigger on this operation where he said, now, rather than being, something in the holster, now we're going to pull the trigger on it?
I would just say, having the opportunity to witness his leadership, he was fully committed to the peace process. Wanted a negotiated outcome, gave Iran every single opportunity, and unfortunately was met by stonewalling, which is why he gave them plenty of time to continue to come to the table and give up enrichment, give up the nuclear program. But there was I won't say the particular moment, there was certainly a moment in time where he realized that it had to be a certain action taken in order to minimize the threat to us and our troops.
Now, of course, the media couldn't wait to ask, what about the allies? Well, here's your answer. Our Gulf partners weren't blindsided. They were informed, consulted, and prepared. This wasn't just about what we did. It was about making sure the region didn't spiral. Trump's team knew the risk, and they planned for it. Take a look.
Yeah, right there.
Question to the Secretary first. Are you concerned whatsoever now about the reaction from U.S. allies given the strike, particularly those in the Gulf? And to the Chairman, if I may, I understand you don't want to speak to specific assets and force protection measures, but do you anticipate at least having to bring in any further assets from other theaters to aid in force protection over the coming days?
We certainly understand the challenges of allies in the region, and we have been respectful and in working in collaboration with them as it pertains to basing and sensitivities there. Ultimately, they've got a lot of assets and people in those locations also where American troops are co-located. So that's a consideration of ours. We've been in close consultation with them, and we appreciate the support that we have got.
Thanks for the question on sort of the global picture. And as you know, that's one of my jobs, is to look globally at the entire range of challenges. We are always carefully considering our force posture around the world and then offering options to the Secretary and to the President. I won't comment on any future things, but the American people should know that we carefully consider those moves around the world and try to modulate as needed our force structure in the region.
Absolutely. Yeah, right here.
Thank you. Behind the scenes, Trump wasn't just dealing with Iran. He was navigating a powder keg between two out-of-control players. Israel was bombing hard, Iran playing games, and Trump, he's trying to keep the whole region from blowing sky high. This next clip is Trump raw and unfiltered, calling it like it is, and making it clear just how close things are to spiraling out of control. Roll the tape.
Great. Says that Iran violated the peace agreement, the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed to
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
And now even untrusted CBS has to admit this wasn't just a strike, it was a statement. Iran's nuclear dreams are in ruins, but the fallout is still unfolding. Will Iran back down? Escalate? Will this stop the march to nuclear weapons, or is it going to double it? This next segment lays out the stakes and the risks of what happens next.
It has called the strikes on the 3 Iranian nuclear facilities a tremendous success, but it could take months for intelligence to confirm Iran's program has been destroyed. CBS's Holly Williams reports satellite images show Iran's uranium may have been moved ahead of the airstrike.
Iran's nuclear ambitions have been obliterated.
Despite the triumphal tone in Washington, Iran's state media claims that stockpiles of uranium were transferred away from Iranian nuclear sites before the US strikes. We cannot independently verify that. But now Iran's responded with strikes.
Thank you very much.
President Trump hopes that Iran will agree to give up its nuclear program.
There will be either peace or there will be tragedy for Iran far greater than we have witnessed over the last 8 days. Remember, there are many targets left.
But the Iranian regime, some Iranians, and Iran's rivals here in the Middle East may view that concession as a humiliation.
Is it possible that Iran will capitulate and completely give up its nuclear program?
I don't think it can. The Iranian regime will prioritize regime survival over everything else.
Dr. H.A. Hellier is an expert in Middle Eastern security.
Is it possible that Iran thinks we need to double down? These attacks show that we absolutely need a nuclear weapon to protect ourselves.
First, I think that they've already smuggled out as much as they can from the sites, and I fully expect the regime to game out some sort of plan so that they do have nuclear capacity in the future.
So where does this all lead? Trump took the shot, but the real story is what it exposed. It showed the world exactly who's serious about stopping Iran and who's still clinging to empty process arguments and phony outrage. The Biden-era appeasement crowd would have waited. They would have debated and done nothing while Iran sprinted towards nukes. And Trump didn't wait. He watched, he warned, and he lined up every single angle. And when time came, he acted. That's leadership, and it's the kind of leadership that sends a ripple effect across the globe. Iran now has to do the math, push harder and risk obliteration, or finally step back and deal with the consequences internally, because they just got a taste of what happens when you push a president who actually means it. The media will whine about escalation, but the only thing that escalated was American clarity. No more guessing where the red line is. No more whispering behind closed doors. Trump didn't make a threat. He made a move, and it worked. So the next time they scream about process or say he should have asked Congress or cry about protocol, whatever the issue is at the day, remember that the alternative was doing nothing, letting Iran finish the job, leaving Israel isolated and alone, leaving our troops vulnerable. And that's not an option. Trump didn't start a war. He stopped one before it began. And here's the part they really hate. It worked. Iran blinked. The international community took notice. And suddenly the entire game board is shifted. This wasn't chaos. This was American clarity. Trump just rewrote the rules. And the message is simple. If you threaten the world with nukes, you better be ready to lose them before they're built. This is Andy with TrendingPolitics.com. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and I'll see you next time.